This One's Wife, WME, to drop her. Hello, I'm HG Tudor. WME, or William Morris Endeavour, is a famous talent agency. Accordingly, you have to wonder why This One's Wife is involved in it, seeing as she is a talent-free zone. You might not know that, formed in 1898, WME is the longest-running talent agency. In 2009, the William Morris Agency merged with Endeavour to become one of the leading entertainment and media companies with an unparalleled list of artists and content creators. In 2014, WME acquired IMG, the global leader in sports, events, media, and fashion, forming Endeavour. And on their website, there is a timeline which provides you with notable actions throughout the company's history. In terms of its expertise, it provides you with quite the roster. There's representation for books, internationally best-selling authors, critically acclaimed literary writers, award-winning journalists, thought leaders, and up-and-coming talent. Some of the books mentioned are The Female Persuasion, Meg Wolitzer, The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dane, Exit West, Mohsin Hamid, I'm a Girl from Africa, Elizabeth Nyamanyaro, Untamed by Glennon Doyle, Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. Oddly enough, The Bench doesn't appear. Then there's a section about comedy, then culinary for award-winning chefs and taste makers. The foodie that This One's Wife doesn't appear to be featured. Digital, disruptors who are setting the new world order, from podcast to digital talent and creators to content brands and publishers. Endorsements, motion picture, which contains award-winning actors, directors, writers, producers, financiers, and distributors who cross every genre and platform. Music, leading musicians and creators across all musical genres, film and theatre, as well as some of the premier musical festivals around the world. Sports, leading athletes, broadcasters, institutions, and personalities responsible for keeping sports a point of engagement and conversation every day around the world. Speakers, the biggest names in television, film, music, sport, media, and politics. Television, theatre, voiceover, and something called WME Ventures. So, for example, if you decided that you wanted to book a speaker for an event, it then takes you to the Harry Walker Agency. And in front of you, there is a collage of various people, which include President Bill Clinton, Ronan Farrow, Al Gore, Indra Nooyi, Boris Johnson, Hillary Rodham Clinton, Hassan Minhaj, Tom Brady, Serena Williams, Riz Ahmed, Karl Rove, Abby Wambach, Ryan Reynolds, Shaquille O'Neal, Fawn Weaver, Joy Reid, Rob Lowe, Julia Gillard. Many of those names you'll recognise as actors and sports stars and politicians. Of course, This One's Wife doesn't appear on the front. It labels some people that are new to the agency, listing Boris Johnson, Dr. Mark Esper, Ursula Burns, Marcus Buckingham, Serena Williams, Rob Lowe. I'm fairly clear that some of those names have been with the agency for some time. But This One's Wife doesn't get a mention. It's a huge agency that covers many different aspects of what you largely recognise as fame, covering different genres and fields. This One's Wife doesn't appear prominently at all, and it's no surprise because undoubtedly, when it came to, who have we got on our books, there would have been some considerable disappointment. Whilst some agents were saying, yes, I deal with Ben Affleck or Jessica Alba, Christian Bale, Kate Beckinsale, Matt Damon, Jennifer Garner, Whoopi Goldberg, Jake Gyllenhaal, Kate Hudson, Hugh Jackman, John Krasinski, Jude Law, Sienna Miller, Conan O'Brien, Ellen Page, Joaquin Phoenix, Amy Schumer, Eddie Vedder, Denzel Washington, and Michelle Williams, just being some of the names that are on the roster, all famous and well known. Those agents would have thought, great dealing with those individuals, plenty of opportunities to get work for them, a joy to represent them. And then along came this one's wife. A narcissist who believes that she knows better than anybody else. It's a tough sell for WME. No charisma, no talent, largely disliked around the world, forged a reputation as a grifter, forged a reputation of someone who spent all of her time complaining about the way that she had been treated, forged a reputation for victimhood. How do we sell that? Well, they've certainly struggled, because any of the events that she's turned up to have simply been where she's been a hanger-on, where she's piggybacked somebody else that is on the WME roster. And it would appear that WME's patience is running out. According to Sky News Australia, g'day, moaning this one's wife could be dropped from top Hollywood talent agency over Omid Scobie's Endgame. This one's wife could lose her lucrative contract with Hollywood powerhouse talent agency WME thanks to Omid Scobie's book Endgame. Accordingly, once again, we see the situation whereby this one's wife's narcissism seeks to assert control over members of the royal family indirectly by smearing them. You would have to have a brain made out of blancmange if you believe that Omid Scobie and this one's wife didn't have any form of collaboration in relation to Bell Endgame. They denied it when it came to Finding Freedom, and, it just so happened in the context of court proceedings that there had been collaboration. And therefore, given the fact that the only people in this book who are not lambasted are this one's wife and the Ginger Prince, and the fact that her enemies, King Charles, the nemesis, the one that got away, are routinely smeared, it really doesn't take much brain power to work out that the basis, the foundation for this book comes from this one's wife. Accordingly, she utilizes it as an organ to smear those individuals, to seek indirect control over them, to try and elicit sympathy once again by way of a pity play to the world at large. And of course it has backfired. It's backfired because everybody realizes that Scobie and this one's wife are metaphorically in bed together. It's backfired because, other than the deluded sugars and a few hangers-on, nobody's accepted that King Charles and the Princess of Wales are racist. Most people recognise that the speculation about Archie, if indeed that did take place, was the kind of speculation that occurs with any prospective child that's going to be born. It's simple curiosity and wasn't born out of racism. Thus, her attempts to curry favour, curry sympathy, have failed. Her attempt to smear the royal family further has failed. And then there is a collateral consequence that the fallout that has occurred from Bell Endgame has not only resulted in repeated challenges to her need for control, but it may well actually undo her relationship with WME. This one's wife's talent agency is horrified over the Omid Scobie Bell Endgame scandal, and may be about to ditch the Duchess of Sussex, a royal expert has claimed. Angela Levin told GB News host Patrick Christys that Hollywood powerhouse agency William Morris Endeavour is horrified over the fallout of the book. It comes after the Dutch version of Bell Endgame was pulled from the shelves for naming King Charles and Princess Kate as the royals who allegedly expressed concerns about how dark Prince Archie's skin would be. MWE said, I think actually you mean WME, but still, said they were horrified That can't just be about the two names that were mentioned. It must be about their client, this one's wife, Levin said on Wednesday. It seems to me that they will think very carefully what they do next. I have never heard such a well-known agency be clear with how they feel. Levin said, this one's wife needs to be very careful because the public is fed up with the former actress moaning about her privileged life. A lot of people have dropped her. The agency have told her to stop moaning because people are getting fed up with it, she said. If they now feel they have an even harder job to do in order to get her famous, it's going to be difficult. It's going to be very difficult to get the glamour she wants. I think she is someone who needs to be adored all the time by the public. Well, indeed she is. As a narcissist, she needs that positive fuel. Christie's, however, pointed out that this one's wife could be an asset for WME, raking in a lot of money. Scobie, who is the Duke and Duchess of Sussex's biggest cheerleader, said the Dutch version of his book naming Charles and Kate was simply a translation error. However, both Dutch translators who worked on the book have insisted the names were in the manuscript they were sent, and we all know who we believe. That's the report from Sky News Australia that there is a risk that WME will drop her. It's a credible risk because at the end of the day she's become such tainted goods. She was not exactly a glittering parcel of attractiveness when she first arrived. She wasn't some up-and-coming YouTube disruptor or a hot Hollywood talent. Instead, she came as a whinger, somebody that played the victim card, the race card repeatedly, that had created a growing tsunami of dislike for her behaviours. And therefore, she presented as a tough case to deal with. Since she's been with the agency, one can well imagine, as a consequence of her sense of entitlement, that she's regularly badgered the relevant agents, telling them how it should be, describing what she wants, even though, of course, it's improbable that that could be achieved. Issuing diktats as to what she wants them to release in relation to her. And where's it got her? Is she representing any major fashion houses? No. Cosmetic giants coming along and throwing money at her while saying be the new face of our product? No. Is she draped over some swanky sports car even? No. Has she now appeared in some Hollywood blockbuster? No. All we've seen is her turning up at events where she was a tag-along and doing pap walking in the street, across car park lots, hanging around outside hotels to get seen with a couple of friendly individuals, having a photograph taken with employees and claiming that they're her lunch friends. Whoopie-fucking-do. What a great success. WME have had their job made all the harder as a consequence of the content of Bell Endgame. And this just demonstrates once again that for all of the suggestion that's made about her being calculating and highly manipulative, she's manipulative, but she's not calculating because she makes these schoolgirl errors time and time again. Driven by her narcissism to get that control in the moment, she smears the royal family. And then there is the backlash, which not only presents more and more challenges against her and continues to drag her popularity, I don't think you can even say that she's popular any longer, that makes her even more unpopular, and it now looks like it might well undo the relationship with the agency, which will eventually throw its hands up in horror and say, we tried our best, but you really can't polish a turd. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.